Before you can calculate how much income your plan will need, you'll need to know what your client's expenses are expected to be. In most cases, these expenses will change as your clients age. To address this, OptiPlan allows you to define expenses in ranges. For each range, we'll enter a name for the range, a start year for the range, the end year for the range, and the expected monthly expenses in that range of years. There are a few things to keep in mind as you define the expense ranges. First, the start and end years are entered as plan years, not calendar years. For example, your first range might cover years 1 through 10, and the next range years 11 through 15, and so on. Be sure that the ranges don't overlap or have gaps between them. Also, be sure that the expense ranges cover the full duration of the plan. If you accidentally leave gaps or have overlapping ranges, OptiPlan will catch the errors during the validation process and alert you. You will also receive a warning if your last expense range doesn't run long enough to cover the entire length of the scenario. Expenses are divided into ranges to reflect changes in your client's lifestyle as the plan progresses. In many cases, expenses might be higher in the early years of retirement when your clients are more active, and then decrease over time. You might also want to predict higher expenses in later years to cover medical or long-term healthcare expenses. Finally, remember that expenses are entered as monthly amounts rather than yearly, as most people tend to estimate their expenses on a monthly basis. OptiPlan will convert these to yearly values when the calculations are performed. These amounts should be entered in today's dollars. The amounts will be automatically increased by the inflation rate that you set when creating the scenario. The default scenario templates provided by OptiPlan include 4 expense ranges. They are named to help you explain the concept of expense ranges to your clients. First is the go-go years, when your clients are most active in retirement. Then there's the some-go years, when the clients are still active, but to a lesser degree. Then the no-go years, when the client's activities are expected to be minimal. And finally, the solo years, the years for a surviving spouse after the first spouse passes away. You can delete these ranges if you don't need them, and change their names or their start and end years. There's no limit to the number of expense ranges you can create, but each scenario requires at least one expense range to be defined. You can also create single-year or multiple-year adjustments for short-term expense increases or decreases, such as a 50th anniversary vacation. Watch the lesson on adjustments for further details.